ABBA's worldwide popularity is one reason Mamma Mia has been a global success. After all, it's the only chance to hear all those great hits live, even if they are sung by actors.
That's the only way you're going to hear those songs performed live. Because ABBA are famously the only group who's never come back. I mean, even the Beatles managed a reunion of sorts, but ABBA, they have never done anything together since they split up.
A reunion of sorts did occur in February 2005. Benny, Bjorn, Agneta and Anna Frid were all on hand for the Stockholm premiere of Mamma Mia. And though they arrived separately and sat apart from one another, it was the first time since 1982 that ABBA's loyal fans could see all four in the same place at the same time.
Mostly it was made a big event because of all those foreign fans. It was people from Germany and from Great Britain and from the Netherlands that traveled to stand there and scream at the four of them as they arrived. At the end of the show, Bjorn and Benny went on stage, as they usually do at these openings, to sort of say, you know, thank you everybody. If the girls had been there with them, the whole house would have erupted. Would have been a big deal, because people haven't really seen those four standing together as a group in public in 20 years now.
The four individuals who would eventually become ABBA were already pop stars in their native Sweden when it all began. Bjorn Ulvaeus was a member of the popular folk music group The Hootenanny Singers and composed most of the band's original material, which was performed in Swedish.
The Hootenanny Singers, they had this very well-behaved, sort of student-y image almost.
Bjorn basically did American folk music in the tradition of Peter, Paul and Mary, you know, that type of thing. Benny was in a rock and roll band.
Benny Andersson played the keyboard for one of Sweden's most popular rock and roll bands, the Hepstars, and wrote his first hit, Sunny Girl, in 1966.
The Hepstars were absolutely the biggest band in Sweden in the 1960s. I mean, they were number one, and then there was nothing, and then there was nothing, and then there was nothing, and then there were a few other bands.
While touring the country with the Hepstars and enjoying the rock and roll lifestyle, he met a young jazz singer named Anna Frid Lingstad. Despite the disparity in musical styles, the attraction was instant.
Frida were in a jazz ballroom type band, and Agneta were a pop singer.
I alla visor och all poesi förälskar man sig om våren.
Agneta was really big in Sweden. She did Swedish songs really good.
She was quite successful at the time, and she had something, whatever it was.
Whatever it was contagious. Between 1968 and 1972, the teenager had 8 hits, making her Sweden's most popular singer.
Agneta was in this show where she was shown with the Air Force singing a song and everything, and ironically that was actually the very same show where she met Bjorn for the first time.
After a whirlwind 2-year courtship, Agneta Fulskag and Bjorn Ulvaeus were married. But it was Bjorn's musical union with Benny Andersson that would lay the foundation for what would later become ABBA.
When Bjorn and Benny met in the summer of 1966, both of them were writing songs. That was an ambition they shared, and I think that's where they really clicked. You know, we want to take this one step further, not just stand there and sing and play, but to be creative.
I think it might surprise people to know what ABBA's own musical influences were. And it's a strange combination of things that produced the ABBA sound. They were huge fans of Phil Spector and his wall of sound, which is a very full sound using a lot of instruments in the studio. But they also loved the Beach Boys, the Kingston Trio, and skiffle music out of England, which is a specific guitar sound.
The songwriting team of Ulvaeus and Andersson now needed a place to hone its craft. That opportunity was provided by Stig Andersson, at the time the most successful figure on the Scandinavian music scene. He offered Bjorn the job of house producer at his newly formed record company, Polar Music.
Stig asked him, okay, would you like to start working here? Yeah, I'd love to do that, but I will only start if Benny can come along as well. And Stig was like, well, I can only afford to pay one producer. And then Björn was very loyal to his friend, I have to say, because he said, well, then we'll split the salary. And that's actually what happened.
In the office, we had such fun. All people were really young, and every Friday we had parties. So we were like a small family.
Patriarch Stig Anderson ruled the roost in a most unconventional way.
Everyone got fired, at least once a week. But that was his manner. He was like that.
He was very good in the sense he was never impressed, and he never took no for an answer. He always pushed to get, what he wanted to do, and I think he was very good at that. He was excellent at that. And he always believed in the songs that Björn and Benny wrote.
With his Svengali-like influence and part-time collaboration, Stig Anderson pushed Björn and Benny to their songwriting potential.
Stig was very much their manager, partner in writing songs, and he was, working with them in songs, and he did obviously a lot of the early lyrics, and I think he worked with Björn on that, and he was very critical to them, and he, cut songs short, and he took things out.
He could still recognize that they had a talent for melody. These guys can write anything. One day they decided, okay, let's try an English language pop song, and let's bring the girls in to be like really lead vocalists, or at least, prominently featured as singers, because they sing much better than we do. And that was a song called People Need Love.
People need hope, people need loving, people need trust from a fellow man. People need love to make a good living, people need faith in a helping hand.
The moment Frida and Agneta started singing together, I think everyone sort of, we're onto something here. They really have it. Not only are they excellent singers as individuals, but the combination is just so powerful.
In 1972, People Need Love was a smallish hit for the band, now known by the distinctly unmemorable name of Björn, Benny, Agneta and Anna Frid. It was Stig Anderson who shortened the group's name to ABBA, an acronym for the initial of each member's name.
The moment ABBA started working together, they were an immediate hit in Sweden. People loved them from the word go.
But could the band find a following beyond Sweden's cozy borders?